Welcome to the Anything Goes Renegade Podcast. I'm your host, Demetrius Smith. And yeah, this podcast is all about spiritual freedom, baby. That means we talk about any and every damn thing. Doesn't matter what topic it is, doesn't matter what it is. In today's episode, we're going to do SCP. Now, for those of you who haven't been down with me since day one, in season 1, I've done an episode on SCP. I want you guys to go ahead over to season 1 of my podcast and check out the SCP episode that I've done on it. But today's episode, 5 new SCPs. Well, 5 new to y'all, but 5 new SCPs that we are going to be talking about today. And I hope you guys are strapped in and you guys are ready to go, because it's going to get buck wild up in here. Hooah, hooah, hooah. Number 1, SCP-027. Appears to be a phenomenon of unknown source that seems to be tied to one human subject. At a time, a host to SCP-27 subject 027 is constantly surrounded by swarming vermin that are drawn to his location. The subject does not appear able to assert control over these creatures in any way, and is in fact prone to occasional attacks from feral specimens. These creatures have also been known to attack personnel who approach too closely. Wherever the subject goes, the initial swarm of flying insects such as gnats and flies will start to form a cloud around them, usually within 2 to 3 minutes. Shortly thereafter, crawling animals, including lice, cockroaches, worms, spiders, mice, and rats, will begin to appear. The longer the subject remains in a location, the more vermin will gather there. When the subject leaves a location, some of these creatures will follow, but most will disperse. SCP-343. SCP-343 is a male, seemingly raceless humanoid in appearance with apparent omnipotence. SCP-343 was discovered walking the streets of Peru and detained after a staff member witnessed him disappear from the streets and reappear on a rooftop. SCP-343 is detained wittingly in his chamber as a containment has provided impossible. SCP-343, colloquially nicknamed God by the staff here, looks like an older man, although his features are different to each observer. In one of the staff's members' first talk with him, he claimed outright to be the creator of the universe. When they asked him to prove this, he laughed, walked through the wall of the chamber, and returned seconds later with the hamburger in his hand. When they returned for a second visit, the previous bare cell had been furnished in upscale, Old English style, completed with a boring fireplace, and seen many times larger than it did from the exterior. SCP-343 greatly enjoys speaking with people and seems to have a knowledge of all topics. People who visit with SCP-343 has become a daily event for many of the staff here, and all employees report feeling generally happier after each visit. Attempts to bar staff below level 3 clearance has been proved unsuccessful, as guards assigned to watch the room quit their post saying, "You know he likes company," or shrugging with questions. Since SCP-343 has thus far been harmless, all staff have been allowed access and somehow They have all time to meet with him for as long as they need. But now, this staff person leaves this report open as for the questioning of SCP-343 is ongoing. Now, that is some interesting shit, Nat. Have you ever wanted to start your own podcast? Are you passionate about a favorite subject matter or a message that you want everyone to listen to? But you don't have any of the equipment or have no idea where to begin? Well, look no further than Anchor. Anchor is the easiest way to make a podcast. Anchor gives you everything you need in one place for free, which you can use right from your phone or computer. Do not worry about any extra equipment, guys, because Anchor's creation tools allows you to record and edit your podcast so it sounds great. They'll distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard everywhere, including Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and many more. You can easily make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. To get started, download the Anchor app or go to anchor.fm. That's ANCHOR.FM. Again, to get started, download the Anchor app or go to anchor.fm. That is ANCHOR.FM. SCP-1291 is a Caucasian male with green blonde hair of approximately 40 years of age, apparently possessed by an entity of unknown nature. Designated SCP-1291-1, SCP-1291 is wheelchair bound, but records show that SCP-1291 stood 184 centimeters tall prior to gaining anomalous properties. The eye color of SCP-1291 is unknown, as camera cannot focus with its eyes in the frame, and looking at them directly exposes the viewer to SCP-1291, the leader's mental effects. Though SCP-1291 is capable of vocalization and movement, he has so far not demonstrated any ability to speak coherently, cannot walk, and frequently attempts to move in ways not anatomically possible in a human body. Neselectin is restraint. SCP-1291 has not demonstrated physical strength above human levels. SCP-1291 has a body temperature of about 155 Celsius and does not need to eat, drink, or breathe. Physical contact with SCP-1291 is universally fatal within a week, as it causes rapid growth of cancerous tumors throughout the body. Continual exposure to SCP-1291 results in full sensory hallucinations and increasingly disorganized thought and speech patterns, developing within about 48 hours to exposures by 96 hours of exposures. All subjects tested so far have been rendered comatose. These symptoms do not fade with time. Making eye contact with SCP-1291 causes immediate, I don't know how to pronounce that word, catatonia, I don't know. If the binding maintenance procedures are not followed, the body of SCP-1291 will begin to degrade. Patches of SCP-1291 skins gain similar properties to his eyes, and his body temperature rises significantly. Additionally, ash starts to materialize on the observed surface in the expanded area. It is believed that this represents a weakening of the effects, keeping SCP-1291-1 contained within SCP-1291. These effects gradually diminish back to the baseline when proper procedures is restored. Prior to containment, SCP-1291 was Roy Wilson, the head coach of the Mississippi River Cottage football team. Background research suggests Mr. Wilson had serpent's hand connections, though he was likely not a member. It is believed that he attempted to summon SCP-1291 to improve the Mississippi River Cottage Moscans performance at football. To date, SCP-1291 has not acted in any way to affect the Moscans or their opponents. Well, it goes to show you not to summon shit that you don't understand, cause shit ain't gonna go right. I guess homeboy found out the hard way. SCP-1108 is a meteorological phenomenon which has only been observed along the southeast coast of the United States, reoccurring most frequently along the east coast of Florida. Most observers at ground level experience SCP-1108 as a heavy fog with no evident anomalous properties. However, from an elevation above or approaching 450 meters, for the formation reveals a distant shape based on aerial photographs and the surrounding ecosystem. This shape is best described as a resembling alligator, Mississippians, and the American alligator. In ideal conditions, the anomaly appears in enough detail for eyelids, teeth, and individual I don't know what the hell that word is. It's supposed to be clearly identified. Area and even pair of observation indicates that the vapor's mass even moves its limbs about slowly mimic the reptile's distinctive gout. SCP-1108 most frequently appears a few hours before dawn, often emerging from a existent cloud bank at a dew point, and temperature consists with fog formation. This gator formation will maintain its distant size and shape for upwards of 6 hours. During this 6 hours period, SCP-1108 traverses an area of approximately 50 kilometers length, always toward the boiling Atlantic. The form appears to be gradually dissipate into the atmosphere. The effects on the local ecosystem do not become apparent until after the formation departure. These apparent influences have so far included irregular rise in fresh water levels and abnormal displacement of local wildlife. Specifically, in areas directly overshadowed by SCP-108 passage, adult alligator Mississippians have been found congregating in the dozens. The infestation occurs far from areas highly populated by the native reptile, which appear in greatest numbers on private property and suburban developments, favoring swimming pools. Now, that is something for your ass. I don't know about y'all, but that is something for your ass. And this, I like this SCP right here because this one's more interesting. I don't know why, but you know.